Hello everyone. What is better on a cold, snowy Wisconsin day than a nice hot bowl of chili? I can't think of anything else. So I am making a nice big pot of chili today. I already prepped a little bit of stuff here just to keep me on so I'm not on a long time on the video today. This is a pretty easy recipe, but I wanted to just come on and talk about it a little bit. So we are going to get our pan ready here. It's on the stove already. I had already browned up my hamburger. So I'm going to throw on about this. I had some of these peppers left in the refrigerator. That's the beauty of a dish like this. If you find that you have something left over from something else and you need to use it up, I needed to use up those peppers. They'd be awesome in the chili. So they went in the chili today. Had a cup of peppers, and there was an orange pepper and a red pepper. I'm going to be putting in some celery, and I talked a little bit about consistency of your cuts a little bit in a different video, and I'm just going to kind of reiterate that today, that you want to have all your ingredients cut at the same size. That just really does help with the cooking of the ingredient, and everything cooks at the same rate, so you don't have to worry about something not getting done or getting done faster than another ingredient. I'm also going to show you again how I dice up my onions. I have a half an onion here, and I'm just going to cut all the way, I would say just about to the end of the cutting board, but if you can stop before you hit that cutting board, it's best. So let's not. If you don't really want to try to cut all the way through the onion, so you want to leave just a little bit of the onion left uncut. And then depending again how small you want or how big you want your dices, I want these pretty small and I want big chunks of onion in my chili, so I'm going to give this an extra little cut today. So I'm going to go a little bit higher and then more down towards the bottom, horizontally. So first I went vertically and then I went horizontally. So I can hear those peppers cooking in that pot, and then I'm just going to go right across here. And I'm going to be using this entire onion today. We like onion in our house, so I don't think I could ever add too much onion to anything and have a complaint. So I am going to get my 1 cup measure out here, and I'm guessing that we have about a cup of onion here. Pretty darn close. I think when I get this little end here cut up, I can call it a cup. Whew. Again, these onions are strong. Holy cats. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to move you guys over to the stove while I saute these. Okay, wow. Those are strong onions. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. I'm just using the same pan that I browned my, can you smell that? Actually, it smells really good. I'm using the same pan that I used to brown my ground beef in. And I want to talk a little bit about ground beef while these are sauteing up. You don't have to cook these all the way through, but I do want to give them a little bit of flavor by sauteing them just a little bit before I add them into the hamburger. But talk a little bit about ground beef. When I choose ground beef, I will only go one way, and that is 100% grass-fed organic beef. And the reason for that is the ratio of your omega-6s and your omega-3s are in line when you have the grass-fed beef versus beef that has been fed corn or whatever else they're going to be feeding the cows. So I will go one step further with my beef, and not only buy organic, but always buy grass-fed. I don't sway from that at all. So, and you want to make sure it's 100% grass-fed. There's some that aren't, and so you want to make sure, because that again will affect that ratio of the omega-6s and the omega-3s. And I will talk about that a little bit in the comments on why that's important. big guys here talking about that all the time. Now I am going to add my chili seasoning. This is one thing that I also make homemade, and if you look at your seasoning packets with your chili or your taco seasonings, there's probably ingredients in there that you either can't pronounce or you don't want. A lot of times they put sugar in it. I don't know why. I don't know why chili needs sugar, but that a lot of times they will add sugar to it. Now I put 2 tablespoons in here, and I'm going to probably end up going with about 3 to 4 tablespoons, and you can adjust this to your taste. I make my chili powder a little bit on the, I would say, medium hot side. I start with, I combine both a medium hot chili powder with a mild chili powder. So I'll post that recipe up above too, so you have that. All right, I'm gonna add in our beef here that I already cooked up earlier. And we're going to, remember how I said I like to layer my flavors? That's what I just did there. I flavored my vegetables, and now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients in. I'm going to just warm this up a little bit. I want to get those spices woken up. Wake them up a little bit. So if you toast them a little bit, they really pop. I can smell them. They really pop. They just smell great, and they also have a lot better flavor if you heat them through a little bit. So that's one reason why you want to add them before. You know, you don't want to add all your wet ingredients and then add your spices. You want to add some of your spices before, let them wake up a little bit, and really enhance those vegetables and that meat, and then you can add your liquid into there. Okay, so this is going to be an open and dump recipe. This is an easy recipe, so it's a no-brainer. It's just a big can or a jar. I always buy the jar. I like to buy a jar when I can, or boxed tomatoes, jar or boxed tomatoes. If I can find them, that's what I buy. The crushed tomatoes. So I'm going to I have a jar here, and this is about a 18-ounce jar, so it would be probably equivalent to a big can of crushed tomatoes. This is going to have a little bit of a surprise ingredient in it, something that you've probably never put in your chili before. I'll guarantee. Well, I can't guarantee it, but likely you haven't used this ingredient. Not this one, but the one I'm going to be adding in last. Then I'm going to be doing our diced tomatoes. I do like to have a little bit of chunkier chili, and I like the fire roasted. That just gives it a lot more depth as far as flavor with those tomatoes. So I always buy the fire roasted when I'm doing a chili. So I think it adds a lot of flavor to it. Oh, this is smelling amazing. Okay, and then just for a little bit of I want to say just a little bit of depth of flavor, I want to add a little bit of tomato paste. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. This is one ingredient I usually always either buy in the jar or in the squeeze tube. It comes in a squeeze tube, and if you can find it in the squeeze tube, it's great, because you never use a whole, very rarely, if I'm using something like this, you don't use a whole can of tomato paste. So what do you do with it? You can freeze it. You can, yep, you can freeze tomato paste and pull it out when you're making something else. But if you buy the tube of tomato paste, you can just squeeze it out as much as you need, because you only usually need a tablespoon or 2, and then put the rest in the refrigerator. I like the jars because the same thing. I can reseal, I can put the cover back on. It's not going to be tight sealed, but it's sealed, and it's going to last a lot longer. So, and I'll find another reason to use that up here within the next couple weeks. All right, and then we are going to be using 2 cups of our vegetable broth. Now, if you wanted to, you could definitely use a beef broth in here. I would highly recommend, if you went that way, you would go organic. Beef broth, and instead of the just regular beef broth. But I always buy I do vegetable broth for my chili. I think you get enough of the beef flavor with the beef. All right. Oh, doesn't this look amazing? Wow. I think I'm missing the Packer game. That's okay. This has to stew for a little bit. Okay. And then, I just made a total mess of myself there. I'm going to add another tablespoon of our chili powder. And since my tablespoon is dirty with my tomato paste now, I'm going to have to grab my half tablespoon measure. So I'm going to add another tablespoon there. Now this I just keep in my pantry. I put a cover on it and I keep it. It stays a long time. You don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to wipe up my little mess that I made there. And this is about the time I like to cook this for about a half hour. Let the flavors all meld together. You want those vegetables and those onions. I didn't put any garlic in here because I have garlic in my seasoning, so I didn't need to add any more garlic to that. And then I'm going to put in about a half a cup of beans. And you can use any beans that you like. You know, I'm not a big kidney bean person, so I use just black beans. Makes it almost like a Southwest chili. And I'm only putting a half a cup in because we differ in our tastes in this household, and one of us really likes beans, and the other one doesn't like beans. So we compromise. I put a little bit in because they're good. They're so good for you, so you need a little bit. So I do put a little bit, and then right before I serve myself up my chili, I will add a little bit more beans. So that's how you can get around that. If you have somebody in your household that isn't a big bean fan, then you can definitely go that route. Now, what is the magic ingredient that I was going to tell you about? This is a magic ingredient. I don't like adding corn flour or any kind of flour to my chili to make it thicker. So what I like to do is I put a little bit of chia seeds in there. Remember when we made that chia seed pudding that morning? I put a half a tablespoon in there. You're never going to know they're in there. You're never going to taste them because they don't have a flavor, but they're going to swell up and they're going to thicken up that juice in there. And you don't need a lot. I only put a half a tablespoon in there. And I have a big pot of chili here. But that's going to add extra fiber to your chili. It's going to add a little bit extra protein to your chili. Chia seeds are just so good for you. So I add them in just about whatever I can. And they hide easy in here too. So, you know, somebody doesn't know that they're eating healthier chili. You don't even have to tell them. So, all right. Wow, this smells amazing. Oh, I wish we had smell-o-vision. I really do. It was, smells so good. So I am going to let this just stew for about a half hour. When I dish it up, I will probably take a picture of it in the dish just so that you guys have it. You can see what it looks like, but I think y'all know what chili looks like. So that is how I make my very healthy chili. So I want you to give it a try. This is the perfect time of year to have those warm comfort foods. So have an amazing day. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to catch the Packers. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.